Mylan Labs, the stock now down close to 8% since we reported on Friday. The company is, once again, raising the price of its life-saving EpiPen allergy drug. Let's get right to Meg Terrell with the latest. Meg.
Hi, guys. So you are seeing that continuing pressure today, although it hasn't been quite as bad of a day as it has been in previous days. Wall Street analysts really coming out acknowledging the pressure that you're starting to see on investor sentiment because of raising the price of the EpiPen so much, but trying to kind of downplay how big EpiPen is as a part of Mylan's business, saying that's going to be a decreasing part over the coming years. However, the political attention is really only increasing. Senator Bernie Sanders now piling on today, tweeting out, Mylan's greed is apparently limitless. They didn't just raise the price of EpiPens 500%. They also dodge U.S. taxes, and tweeting a link there to an LA Times column citing Mylan's inversion to the Netherlands recently as for that. And that piles on to more political pressure that you're seeing from senators urging inquiries from Senator Blumenthal, who you guys spoke with yesterday, Grassley and Klobuchar. You're also seeing the American Medical Association just coming out with a statement saying that the AMA has long urged the pharmaceutical industry to exercise reasonable restraint in drug pricing. And with lives on the line, we urge the manufacturer, Mylan, to do all it can to rein in these exorbitant costs. That was specifically about the EpiPen. And now, of course, industry experts, including former Medtronic CEO Bill George, this morning on Squawk on the Street, weighing in as well. Take a listen.
She's pricing that way because she can get away with it. But I can tell you this is going to put at risk after a new administration comes in whether or not they'll continue this. And I think the drug companies need to show a lot more restraint and stop pushing up prices so rapidly because they're harming the American consumer.
Bill George, they're referring to Mylan CEO Heather Bresch, saying that she stepped in a hornet's nest here with raising the price of EpiPen by so much.
Yeah, Meg, you're going to stick around as well. We're going to bring in Susie Welch. Susie, listen, this is a company that has not only been under fire for the EpiPen, but for other drug price hikes. And to be fair, there have been many other pharmaceutical companies that have raised their prices as well. What would your advice to Mylan be?
To get into the room as fast as they can with the advocates and come up with a negotiated solution and then get in front of the press together saying this is the way that we're going to find the right thing for the consumers and for the company. Right now, they're probably hunkered down. They're in crisis mode. They don't know what to do. And then they're not talking to the press. This is a company that's already got very bad optics. We're dealing with a product which is a life or death product that mainly children use. And it's a monopoly. It's got the optics of the inversion. It's such a perfect storm that the only thing you can do is quickly find a solution with the advocates and get it out as a negotiated solution in front of the public.
Do you think they need to lower the price?
It looks like they have to. I don't know how they can get away with this without lowering the price.
Let's bring in former FDA Associate Commissioner Peter Pitts. He's now the president of the Center for Medicine in the Public Interest. You said something during the break. I'm going to repeat it. I hope you don't mind. You said this is a perfect storm of stupidity.
It certainly is. This is a company with an annuity product. It's off patent. It's been around for a long time, and they've stepped in. A hornet's nest is probably the polite way to put it. What it's going to force the FDA to do finally is to prioritize products that are off patent through the generic drug or generic device approval process, because that's how you drive competition. That's how you keep prices down, by making sure there's competition.
Congress keeps wanting to blame the company, but you highlight the FDA. This drug, there's nothing special about this. In theory, lots of competitors could be making this. The price is high enough, certainly, to draw supply to the market, but it's not happening. Is that the FDA's fault?
Well, I think it's the FDA's opportunity to prioritize these types of propositions.
Well, to Michelle's point, Teva had a product last year, which was rejected in November of 2015, and the FDA pulled Sanofi's competing product called, what is it, Auvi-Q, because they said basically didn't work or it had a problem.
Issues.
Right, can I add two more facts? In Europe, where I think the regulatory burden is far higher than anything we've ever seen in the United States, there are two competitors to the EpiPen. Right. So why aren't they here?
Well, there are two problems. The first is when you only have one real player in the game, kind of the Cadillac product, you have the risk of shortages. That's a big key out there, especially when the FDA shuts down production facilities. But more importantly, when the FDA doesn't prioritize these types of applications, when it doesn't help the company succeed, and Teva is a great example, a world-class company, they know what they're doing, you're allowing a company to do the wrong thing. And what's interesting is Heather Bresch, the president of Mylan, she's the daughter of Senator Joe Manchin. So hopefully during Labor Day over hot dogs and coleslaw, there's some discussion going on here about doing the right thing.
Right. But at the end of the day, I don't think the FDA is going to hold the bag on this. The company is. And the company's executives and their managers and their leaders, they're the ones who are going to either have to fix this or there will be blood on the floor.
He's highlighting what should be you're highlighting what is likely
to be. I just think that the people who are going to look bad and the company that's going to take it's going to be Mylan.
Right. But again, to be not defending the price increase from Mylan, and we brought it up yesterday. I think it's important to note that many of the top drugs have seen prices increase this year. Some more than doubling. In fact, 4 of the top 10 drugs have seen massive price increases over the past 12 months. In fact, there was a New York Times article on April 26, I think it was. Despite price increases, the pharmaceutical industry hasn't learned its lesson. Something to that effect, Peter. The idea being it's not just Mylan, it's everybody. What the hell is going on?
Well, you have 2 separate kind of silos here. On the generic drug side, you have people that have monopolies on products that can be made by a lot of people. You need to inject competition into the marketplace, and the FDA can certainly help. On the innovative drug side, you have companies raising the price because they're being forced by PBMs and insurance companies to give them deeper and deeper discounts. So it's a bit of a shell. It's a bit of a shell game.
What is the role of the pharmacy benefit manager, the PBM, the names none of our viewers probably ever talk about that are in between the pharmacy and the pharmaceutical company? Their profits and revenues have also been going up dramatically the last few years, but they get no attention.
Sure, when people say drug prices are too high, that's the soundbite, right? What people really mean is that their copay at the pharmacy is too high. And that's not a factor of the pharmaceutical industry because they're giving 20, 40, 70% discounts to the PBMs, to the insurance companies, who are not then passing along those savings to the consumers, which ties right back to Obamacare, the ACA, where people realize that having health insurance and having access to health care are 2 completely different things. So it's this whole ecosystem of people who need to play nicer in the sandbox.
That was really nicely summed up. I really want to ask you, though, how does the FDA solve this problem of the generic backlog we're seeing? Why, when they reject the Teva application, do we just see certain deficiencies cited and we don't know anything else about why it was rejected or how they're working together to try to fix that problem?
Well, a couple of ways. Firstly, the information within that file is confidential to Teva. So if Teva chose to share it, they could. But I want to know, is there somebody in the generic drug division at FDA who says, well, this really needs to be a priority. We need to work with this company to make it happen. Where's upper management? Where are the adults saying, listen, careful attention. Attention must be paid. We have to avoid shortages. We have to make sure that competition exists, which is the whole concept behind Hatch-Waxman relative to generic drug entry anyway. That's the FDA's role in helping price and value and quality. It's a triad to make sure the products that come on the market are safe and effective, that they cost less, and that they get to market with a degree of speed that actually impacts people's pocketbooks.
So you're describing something that only happens in a non-bureaucratic situation that's not the government. And the day this gets dealt with is the day that a very unfortunate child or an adult dies because the family didn't go and buy the EpiPen because it was too expensive.
Well,
and then it blows up, and then the government does something about it.
That's right. Here's why that's why the competition, and that's why the political attention is so important. There are going to be hearings in the Senate. Right. Things will happen.
Speaking of politics, I'm not quite sure what you were trying to raise with the fact that the CEO of this company is the daughter of a senator. But when I look back at the history of this company, you can read that they were very, very good at marketing. They were very good at building. It reads to me that they were very good at regulatory capture. Mm-hmm. This is what economists used to say. You lobby and you lobby and you lobby the government. Suddenly the EpiPen, for years it was around, but now it's required to be at school. You're required before you can go to camp. You must buy it. It has been legislated into profitability, I bet, due to the success of the lobbying of the company.
And the fact that it's actually a really terrific product.
Yeah.
But but relative to the fact that her.
But it was a terrific product long before Mylan took it over, right?
That's exactly right.
Yes.
But they knew what to do. They knew how to get it out there in front. And my point about Heather's dad being a U.S. senator is she should know better. In an election cycle, no less, to do something like this, expecting something not to happen, is just naive.
All very interesting. Yeah. Peter Pitts, it was great to have you on. Thanks so much for weighing in.
Thanks much.